So the flute tone production. I'm a doubler. A doubler means that I play many different types of woodwinds. I play saxophones, and flute being my secondary instrument that I play a lot of this, and piccolo and other types of flutes. Um, and I am going to talk about tone production, just basic, real quick. Great tips on tone production. Don't push very hard against your bottom lip. Let it sit right. And also, another thing with posture, when you're sitting down, especially, we'll talk about standing up at some point, but when you're sitting down, I let my arms fall underneath, they relax, so I can hold this and practice for a good length of time. I know lots of people do this a lot. Don't do that. I think you should be very relaxed. Lip should be forward. It should be an upside down smile, as opposed to, this. I always see a lot of doublers, a lot of musicians who play other instruments. When they play the flute, they have trouble with flexibility, and part of it comes from being too tense. And the armature should be more of a pucker, kind of like a downward, exaggerated, but downward. That's the way, tone production. You do that, I see that a lot, and it doesn't work at all. It's not the way to play. You want to have this. And it moves ever so slightly. The jaw does shift back and forth. Depends on the air pressure. But let's just start with a simple tone, C. And it's very important to cradle it. Cradle the flute. Cradle it. Let it sit down. This E flat key is always there for balance. Find a good position. And when you practice your scales, try to make them smooth, or when you practice any sort of idea. Very important to do that. And by the way, it takes a lot more air than we realize. Another tip is it takes a lot more air from our diaphragm than we realize to play the flute. Sometimes we're not getting enough air into the instrument. Don't be afraid. We need to really be able to zero in on it, to be able to, especially the lower register and the third register of the flute really needs a lot of air support. They all do, but to be able to control the intonation and have a consistent sound throughout, in general. Up there. And when you feel that the tone is not clear, focus on getting that center, get that sweet spot. Another thing, I'm really relaxing. Sometimes let the flute go forward. And it's not like this or like this. My angle is a little bit outward. See how the balance is really off here. It's very relaxed. A good exercise also is to play dynamically. Play as soft as you can. That's a B flat. That's a good one, actually. Start with a mid B flat. That's an easy one. Go down third to G. See, my lip movement is really not changing a whole lot. It's really just the air coming through my lungs and into the flute across. You play your scales, sing them, like if you were singing. See, I'm starting to break up there. I'm tired. I had to pucker up a little bit and create more air pressure and relax a lot more to be able to make it feel, to let the note speak on the flute. Hear that ooh? Again, I'm breathing a lot deeper. Remember that exercise? You've always heard this whipping sound. That whipping sound when you put your hand here. Get that whipping sound. That's how open your chest should be and your diaphragm to get that air out on the flute. So it takes a lot. Start with the G. Any idea, very simple motifs. Make your exercises very simple, just to warm up. I suggest that to all my doubling friends and people who are beginning on flute for the first time. It's a great instrument. Start with the head joint. Get your balance right. Experiment. And by the way, it doesn't matter the level. This is a professional flute, but any good flute will do. Another issue that some of us have is that we have to make sure that the flute is being maintained correctly. So make sure that all the pads are covering and doing what it's supposed to be, open hole or closed hole. Make sure that everything is doing the right thing. Sometimes I have some younger students and they realize that they're not able to execute certain things, and sometimes it's the instrument, especially younger folks. A lot of the schools, they have rentals, and sometimes the flutes are a mess and it's impossible to get started. But with simple notes you can get started there with the head joint, and start there. So I hope this was very helpful for you, and I'll be back. All right, until next time, bunch of flute tips for all my doubling friends. Until next time.